comes around, goes around, and it's always interesting that sports never really changes. Things continue to go around the wheel in the circle of sports life. What do I mean? Because when you have organizations, fans, media, content providers, whatever it is, not sure what's up with my camera, but there we go. I think we're okay. Maybe we're a little fuzzy. All right, I think we're a little bit better now. But you always go for a head coaching search on someone that you know or you feel that you know well. Well, that's probably not going to change with the Saints because Aaron Glenn's where I think that they are probably leaning if you ask me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't cover the Saints like that, so I don't know. I'm just giving an opinion. My opinion is that Aaron Glenn, who a lot of players want to play for, they love Dan Campbell. They love that culture. Can he replicate that? He knows what it is and what it means to be in New Orleans. I think it's interesting when you think about it. College football, NFL, NBA, you go with people you know. I mean, hell, the Lakers, for crying out loud, hired J.J. Redick as their head coach. You go what you feel comfortable with, what the PR move is. PR moves don't win you football games. Tough coaches like Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn, etc., that live, breathe, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, dudes that get in there and grind and work and know what the hell that they're doing and want to be there because they're competitors. They really love football. Those are the winners. But I do think Aaron Glenn may get that job. Maybe I am wrong. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people who tell me that I'm wrong. But I know that a lot of people want to play for him. But here's what I'm going to say as I drop my pencil. Here's what I'm going to say about the Saints head coaching search, because I'm not spending long on it. Believe you me, we got a lot we got to get to. Players win games, and you don't have a lot that are good enough to win games in the NFL. That is just a fact. I don't think you have the quarterback, and no coach is going to save you from that. No coach is going to save you from Derek Carr. It's not going to happen. Not unless you find a crazy run game and maybe you don't ask him to do much and your defense plays elite. Well, I don't know defensively that you're much better. You're an aging team. Your salary cap sucks. You've kicked the can down the road. You think you're going to, we'll just continue to kick the can down the road until kingdom come. Doesn't really matter. It does matter. It does matter. One day you're going to have to pay that piper. But it doesn't matter because there comes a situation where your quarterback is not good enough to play for you. And the limited Saints stuff that we talk about, it's not that I'm not a massive fan of the Saints. I'm a massive fan of the Saints. Massive fan of the Saints. We just don't get to talk about them a lot. But, man, I will be real with you. Joe Brady, Aaron Glenn, Kellen Moore, whoever in the Rudy Poo you want, it doesn't matter. Because until you start getting better players in there, and I'm sure the coach will have a big say-so of what he wants and what he thinks that you need. But, man, organizationally, you have to be better. I mean, you've gone out in multiple drafts and went out and got D lineman, O lineman, which I don't hate. I don't hate it. But playing the line of scrimmage has a shelf life historically. You got about 8 to 10 years max, especially for those big tackles. Now, you'll have elite ones that like Andrew Whitworth that play for a long time, but you have a shelf life. Like look at Lael Collins. It was a big drop-off. He got into year 8, year 9, big drop-off. Look, man, organizationally, you got to have a GM head coach combo that Detroit has because you're in a full rebuild. I know you probably think you're not going to be in a full rebuild, but you're in a full rebuild. They got to show you what they can do. If you ask me, I mean, Joe Brady, for what it's worth, I'm always going to be partial to Joe Brady. Of course I am. Of course I am. Carolina was not his fault. You know it, I know it. You went and got out a new quarterback and told him to get. You thought your offensive problems was him. No, you're organizationally, you suck. Well, the Saints suck worse than them right now because they're dead last in the NFC South. It's a full rebuild. A coach is not going to come in here and bring that unless you go and get him players. Well, Blake, Sean rebuilt it. Sean had a first ballot Hall of Famer that he hit on and believed in free agency. Is there a quarterback that you can go and get in free agency or the draft that will do that for you? No. This game is won in a lot of different ways. Guys, what are all of the quarterbacks that are in the playoff? You saw Joe Burrow go off. They didn't even make the playoff. I mean, you have to play at a great level at quarterback to win in the NFL. Jane Daniels led a team with the second overall pick to the playoffs in the NFC East. I've kind of had it a little bit. The reason I'm talking Saints for the first time to open this show, I've kind of had it up to here a little bit because I see all of these like opinions and I'm like, man, goodness. Aaron Glenn players want to play for. That is a fact. Won't matter until you get the quarterback situated. It will not matter. And then you got to go and draft well. Detroit's knocking on the door. Detroit is knocking on the door. Jamar Gibbs, you shouldn't take him that high. Guys, if you told me that you thought I had Alvin Kamara, I'm getting Alvin Kamara and Jamar Gibbs. By the way, LSU missed out on him. Didn't know if he could be a every down SEC back. Did the old staff believe? How interesting is that? How interesting is that? All right, let's get rolling here. Way too early top 25. We got some things we need to talk about with LSU to start off with here. Likes, dislikes going into spring. Now, you're not done in the portal. You're not done in the portal. Regardless of if LSU lands anyone, you're not done. We'll wrap a lot of this up into a bow before we get into basketball, baseball, and push it. We will always talk football on this show. Always. Year-round thing. We're not going to not talk about football. It will happen. I do look at some things. We don't have all the puzzle pieces, but we have a lot of puzzle pieces for this team at 25. We'll get to that. Oh, and by the way, we're talking about LSU baseball. Blake, LSU baseball in January? Well, yeah, a little bit. We'll do that at the end of the show. We got lots to talk about that. Did you know LSU faced 6 top 25 opponents in conference this year? 6. Over half, or at half, is it 12, 10? Paul's up. How many SEC series is there? It's 10, right? Pretty sure it's 10. So just over half, 60% of your in-conference series this year are ranked opponents. We'll go to that too. Texas, Oklahoma, Auburn, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas. Woo! Woo! Yes, it's 10. Pause up. 10 series, 30 games. That's what I thought. But my math wasn't mathing in my head, and I didn't even think about saying that. But that's why we got Paul's Hub always in here. All right, let's do this. Let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. If you're on Facebook, share to all those groups and social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag, our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty, and our good friends over at J&J Exterminating. When we come back, way too early, top 25. I wish we could talk more about the Saints. We just can't. We just can't. I mean, we could, and I will answer all your questions if you have them. But I just don't think that the Saints have a full rebuild here that they got to get to. We might get into that too. I don't know. Hit the like and share. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you on the other side. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if it's the cold weather or what it is, but man, I have been sneezing all day. All day. Or I feel as if I have to sneeze and then don't, and it makes it worse. It makes it worse. Maybe it is the cold weather. Maybe your boy, needs the sun to come out a little bit more. I actually like the cold because I can put clothes on. You don't want me starting to take them off. I assure you of that. Let me get to this. I did see a couple of questions in here. Yeah, where is everybody listening to from tonight? I'm sorry I didn't get to that. Did you hit the like and share? Is a massive question that I have for you. But yes, I saw somebody in here on Twitter or Facebook, whatever, ask the question. We answer all super chats. Maybe not to the immediate time that you want us to. We're going to get through what we want to get through, but we will get to them. Yes. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, announcement I didn't get to. Thursday is going to be a big day. We might be doing a drawing here. We have gotten the things lined up. We'll probably do it on Thursday. Announce it. Go get you a win bar. We have the little shaker thing. What do you call it? A lot of people's names in there. So you know what to do. All right. So I want to get to this tonight because I think that things have started to settle down. There are some other pieces that LSU wants to add, but kind of starting to wrap the bow around this 2025 season for LSU. I want to get an early look at them. Conversation between you and I. What do we look at LSU from a portal aspect and things that they have coming back? There are a couple of questions that I have for this team. Number one, do we really know what to expect for LSU football going into 2025? I don't think that we do. I don't think that we do is because you're adding so many pieces from the portal. Guys, quite frankly, there could be a chance 3 of the 4 starting defensive linemen that you have are brand new. Now, you've seen what they've done in the ACC, the SEC with Pyburn. You've seen what Butler's done in the Big Ten. How is this going to work out? How does Weeks come back? What do you really do at linebacker without Greg Penn? Now, you could say, well, Greg Penn struggled. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. What do they look like on an every down? What does Donovan Keys look like on an every down with one of the Weeks brothers? What if it is just the Weeks brothers that are going to be there in certain situations? I do not know. But I don't think any of us do. I have a lot of questions on defense. Of course I do. I want to know what you're going to be and what you look like along the defensive line. How do you look at linebacker who's had moments of struggles? Guys, quite frankly, I don't care what you tell me. I think that you have talent at linebacker. I agree that we have talent at linebacker, but I also look at the more physical teams that we play, and when quarterbacks start running the football, we start having issues. That also goes on your linebacking core too. A lot on your D-line. A lot of that goes on your linebacking core too. So, again, you're giving up 250 yards on the ground in every game that you lost in the SEC this year per average. I don't know what to expect. I feel like that I have a pretty good idea mentally of what I could see. What I could see is Pyburn, and I could see Pat Payton standing up on the outside. Guys, I think that is something that we've seen from Blake Baker at Missouri. They're utilizing the portal to try to recreate what they did at Mizzou. Maybe more of the style of defense of what he wants to play. Forming it, molding it more into his likeness. Now, I will remind you, think about this. Blake Baker was just being announced as the head coach of our head coach was just being announced the defensive coordinator at LSU around this time last year. Kevin Peoples was on the way. Bo Davis, you would have to wait a little bit. But now that you're going into a year 2, this is what Blake Baker wants. Now he starts getting in pieces that he thinks that he can win and play with. You brought him in. And I hope you're not bringing in guys and then bragging on you spending the money. But these are your dudes. Right, wrong, or indifferent. And some for or a combination in the interior, Sadir Mitchell, Dominic McKinley. What does Ahmad Bro do? There are a lot of questions there. I think you have some talented pieces, but how do you answer those questions? I feel really confident in Bo Davis to develop, get guys ready going into year 2. I think they play better with the guys that he had. Now he gets a sophomore and Dom McKinley coming in. How does all that transition? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Defensively, I see the talent and the potential. So I say all that to say I see so much talent from LSU that on paper, okay, it makes sense. Like, I don't know where you would be, but I feel as if that you can be better defensively because of just pure overall talent. Are you asking a true freshman to start at a boundary corner position? Does Mansour Delane have to move to safety because you've missed? What does that secondary look like? I can say this. From a defensive perspective, I'm not sure if there's not a bigger offseason or spring that I am more interested to see what they do at DB more than anything. Because I look at it and I say, well, Stamps is going in as a junior. What does Mansour Delane look like? What does DJ Pickett look like? Can he be a dude now? And if he can be a dude now, good. You need him. You need him now. I'm not completely sure that there hasn't been a spring. I know we could say 22, right? 22 was more offense for me because the whole thing replaced. Defensively, I still had linebackers. I still had corners, or not really corners. I still had defensive tackles. I had B.J. Ojulari, Jaquelin Roy. I had Micah Baskerville. I had trying to think the returners on that defense. I'm sure you guys are remembering a couple of them. You go and got Mekhi Wingo. I mean, we didn't know what he was going to be. But you also had Mason Smith, and if you don't lose him in game one, but we got to see Mason Smith in 2022 that whole offseason, pretty much. Listen, man, defensively, I have tons of questions. I see a much better talent outside of safety. I see the vision. How does that all pan out? I don't know. But my goodness, for me, I think it's the biggest question mark on this team right now based off of what you're going to get. Now, offensively, I look into this and I say, well, look, I got to see Tyree Adams at left tackle against Baylor. I got to see him sporadically throughout the season. His name never really came up in the games that he played. Well, why is that? Well, mainly due to the fact that he was just taking care of business. Every time that things are quiet, that means that you're doing a pretty damn good job. Actually, it means you're doing a very damn good job. Like the long run that Caden Durham had, both of them really, the 11-yard one and the one that went for like 16. Both are Tyree Adams massively winning blocks on both of them. Offensively, I've seen Paul Mabinga. I think, quite frankly, Paul Mabinga has gotten better in every single start that he's played this year. Every single game, it's of my humble opinion that Paul Mabinga has gotten better. You're bringing in the center in Braylon Moore, and your guard, Josh Thompson, just technically signed today. Technically, I guess. It'll be interesting to see what you do there. And it's going to be interesting to see what you do at right tackle. But looking at Josh Thompson, looking at Braylon Moore, I think along the offensive line, I feel like I have a better understanding because of the fact the Big Ten produces some really good defensive linemen. Go look at any NFL draft. It's going to be a ton of Big Ten defensive linemen that are in there. A lot, especially at edge. But I look at those two and feel very much more confident. Like, I have questions about Jack Pyburn because he played half of a season. Even though he played well, can he be a full-time starter? There are things about Patrick Payton that I've heard about Motor not being there. What do you get the best out of him? Well, Josh Thompson, everybody wanted. I was talking to some Ohio State buddies of mine, and they were like, we 100% would have taken him. 1,000% would have taken him. Wanted to take him. Tennessee, the same. Auburn, the same. You got him. Offensive line is going to be a question mark all throughout the year. And the biggest question mark that surrounds them is going to be, how do you run the football? Guys, you got to be better running in your run game. It is a must. Now, Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson are two starters at other places, bona fide starters, like guys that Virginia Tech and Northwestern, like they don't want to lose those dudes. But smaller school, they go to a bigger place. So there are some things I like on both sides, and I feel confident of what I'm going to get from Barian Brown, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton. If Chris Hilton's healthy, if he's healthy, I feel like I know what I get. A full, true Chris Hilton, I know what I get in every single game. Question is, can he stay healthy? There are some likes and dislikes that I have. I love your offensive weapons. I love you have a second-year quarterback coming back. I love that you have experience at defensive linemen, like very experienced with talent. Like I think that D-line, even though I got question marks on them, I do think that they're very, very talented. I love the explosiveness that you have. Like wide receiver room, tight end room. I love the Caden Durham and now Harlan Berry, guys. Like, look, man, Harlan Berry has a comp of Reggie Bush. People have put that out there. I don't know if he's that. If he's remotely in the same stratosphere, like even remotely close in the same stratosphere, you're going to have to get him touches. You're going to have to get him touches. Freshman Reggie Bush doesn't get in there. Now, that's some high praise. I'm not going there. I need to see it for myself. It's high praise. It will be interesting. But, man, I love the explosiveness. I think you can do some very good things. Wide receiver, DN, corner. I think Mansour Delane's a very explosive athlete. I mean, he's forced multiple fumbles. He's had multiple pickoffs, or balls intercepted. He plays man-to-man coverage really well. So it'll be interesting. There are some dislikes. Secondary at safety, can you and will you run the ball? Not only, and I've said this, I said it last week, I'll say it again here. I challenge anyone in this media corps to challenge me on the LSU run game, about this O-line always consistently being bad. That's not true. They weren't consistently bad against Alabama. The problem was, and I will go toe-to-toe with anybody on this, they tiptoed. Sometimes you got to just put your head down and get some yardage early. That's neither here nor there. Can you run the football? Regardless of our opinions, can you run the football? And then can you cut down on turnovers? What does Garrett Nussmeier look like going in spring? It's a big 3 months for him. Because he doesn't take, no time to take a break. It's a big 3 months for him. Did those things start reducing themselves and you go out there and you say, you know what, man? We've been out of practice this whole time. Garrett has not thrown a pick. He's not out here making bad decisions. You're a very talented bunch. You're a really, really talented group. I don't know if you're even close. I have no clue if you're even close to being a playoff team. No clue. I can see an argument. If you gave me the argument of LSU being a playoff team in 25, I will listen to it. Maybe I'm too biased and I'm just wanting that to happen, and very much may be the case. I could see the argument that you make. Hey, Garrett Nussmeier comes back. He takes another step forward. He reduces some of the turnovers. You got explosive wide receivers. What does Nick Anderson look like coming out of injury? I think that's a big deal that we need to focus on going into spring too. How does he look coming into spring? What does Barry Brown look like? Along with Chris Hilton and Aaron Anderson, with a quarterback that wants to stretch the ball down the field. Make no mistake about it. Don't let this year confuse you. If Garrett's got the ability to push the ball down the field, he's going to push the ball down the field. So what did you do? You ain't got dudes with speed. Want to throw it down there? Well, I'm going to give you a crap load of options to throw the football down the field. If that's what you want to do, let's go ahead and do it. Fine by me. You double down. Instead of Garrett fixing things that you got to fix with Garrett, you went out and changed the system for him. Don't mind it. Don't necessarily mind it. It's a philosophy. Let's see if it works. I will take that. I will take that in the running game. You had a running back that got better, and Caden Durham. Maybe you start getting some stuff from Caleb Jackson, and you got a guard that's an NFL guard, and you played him at guard, and Braylon Moore's a really good center, and you just developed really well. And you chalk it up to DJ Chester wasn't ready, Garrett Dellinger wasn't good enough, and Miles Frazier wasn't good enough. Maybe. Maybe that's what you do. Even though I don't agree with you, like there's a thing that's out there on Miles Frazier. There's a film breakdown on Miles Frazier. I highly suggest that y'all go and watch it. You're going to see exactly what I see. You're like, damn, bro. Like, okay. Well, what does LSU do? Why does this is blocked perfectly? Why is LSU getting 2 yards? Why? Well, did Caleb Jackson just run into DJ Chester's back and he's got a wide open hole in the five hole or the BC gap? Like what are we talking about? I don't know. Defensively, I could see the argument of you being in a situation where your D-line was much improved. Linebacker play was much improved because of your D-line being really good. DJ Pickett's going to have to hit, and Mansour Delane would have to move to safety at this exact moment, or you have to figure something out at safety, and Mansour can stay at the boundary, and you figured something out there, and guys took big steps forward. But, man, make no mistake about it. I mean, I think that I could look at outside of quarterback. Outside of quarterback, you have questions. And even questions around quarterback to some extent. Like, can Garrett get better and going in? Interesting offseason, man. Very interesting offseason. All right, a couple questions before we get moving here. Nola P says, I would say tight end, but I would think Trey Dez is going to be special. Nola P, I said this last night. I don't think basketball, quite frankly, is what he needs to focus on. I really don't. But it's not my decision. If he wants to play both, go right on ahead and play both. It is not my decision. And I'm not going to act like it's my decision. It's not my decision. I think Trey Dez can be a very good tight end. I think he could be very special. Spectrum Wellcare says Solomon Thomas and Kern will make some noise. So I think Spectrum brings up an interesting point here, which I very much agree. I think Solomon Thomas could start at left guard. I think your O-line could look like Adams, Thomas, Moore, Thompson, and I don't know what you do at right tackle. Carius Kern's another very, very interesting prospect in his own right. I don't know what you do there. But those guys are really good, man. At least we think that they're really good. We're going to find out quick. Oh, buddy. We're going to find out quick. Playing in the interior as a freshman's a different beast, though, man. It's a different beast. It's easier to do it at tackle. It's not easy to do it at guard. Maybe he can, man. I mean, maybe he can. But it is very brutal. I think they will make some noise, though. Blaine says Nuss needs spread, but more play action pro style. So basically what you're saying is he needs everything. Carver says, thank you, Blake. We need to make sure Nick is healthy and he fits in before making him wide receiver 1. Yeah, I don't think that he is wide receiver 1 right now, Carius. I think he's got to come in here and prove that. What you look at Nick Anderson is massive name, hits the portal. When he was healthy, year 1, he went off. Is he healthy? I will say this. I think Barry. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I think let me say it like this. I'm very, very intrigued to see Barian Brown. I'm very intrigued. I don't know what he does here, but I'm more intrigued than Nick Anderson. I am more intrigued. Guys, do you realize what this dude did at Kentucky? Kentucky. And they don't throw the ball. What does he do when you're throwing the ball all over the place? Think about that. Bro, Kentucky, run the football, run the football, run the football. Defense, run the football, run the football. Brock Vandergriff, run the football. And then they'll throw it around when they absolutely have to. The dude was still productive. I think the kid could double his catches and double his yards and maybe double his touchdowns. That means big plays are coming. So Nick Anderson, I would say Aaron Anderson is your number 1 right now. You got question marks around the others. I think people are sleeping on Barian Brown. Terry Dillahuse says, do you think the OC will stay the same? It's a good question. I mean, if you have not moved on from Joe Sloan now, what in the Sam Hell are you waiting on? And no, I don't. I do not. I do not. No, I do not. But Terry, there's an interesting question to see what they do at tight ends coach. I have no idea. I've told you all this. I have no idea what they're going to do. Nor have I been coming in here and playing like I know. I've brought up the scenario that all of you wanted to talk about, and that being Tommy Rees. I would take Tommy Rees in a heartbeat. I'd take him in a heartbeat to be our tight ends coach, but I don't know if he comes here for that. He's going to have other offers than being a tight ends coach. But I know BK trusts him. Maybe do you go? I'm gonna hold on to that. I would think experience then comes into play. Big experience. More than recruiting. Who can develop? Who's the best developer at tight end? Seriously, who is the best developer at tight end? All right, last one before we get to a break here. Matthew with a $2 super chat says, what's the floor for Jay in the squad this year? I'm glad that you asked. I'm so glad that you asked. Because we're going to go to a break, Matthew, and I'm not avoiding your super chat. We're going to go to a break, and we're about to break down a crap load of baseball. We're going to spend the next, 15 minutes on it. So, I'm excited for it. All right, let me get to a quick break. When we come back, Matthew, you're getting your question answered. We're going to talk baseball preview, what I see, what I've seen, what I've heard. So I've been out there a couple of times, not a lot, candidly, not a lot. Most notably, I was out there with our boy Chris Phillips. We're going to break this down. I want to be careful with my words here. Can LSU baseball go to Omaha? That's the question we start answering next. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
You know what else is about to be back in about a month? So a month and a week. A month and a week. We're going to get a little itsy-bitsy jump on some early baseball talk here because a lot of you have asked. A lot of you have asked. Hell, we just had a super chat here tonight from Matthew who asked us what we thought about what is the floor for Jay in the squad this year. And I'm so glad he asked because we're about to spend a whole segment on it. So baseball season is among us. And I know it's January, but this is LSU. And we talk baseball here. We talk a lot of baseball here. We talk a lot of baseball on this show. Second favorite sport. We're going to talk about it. So listen, LSU comes in from perfect game. The number two team, the number ranked team, number two ranked team in the country coming into the season. Daniel Dickinson, preseason All-American. There's a lot of hype for this team. There needs to be a lot of hype for this team. Let's look at them. Guys, I think what's interesting about LSU baseball going into this 2025 season is, number one, what you're returning. Look, Bear Jones, a lot of us thought there was going to be a potential that he was going to go into the draft. You were hoping and praying that there was going to be a situation where he doesn't enter the MLB draft. You were hoping and praying like, hey, man, you could really use another year. You come back, you put another year out there, no telling what could happen. He comes back. I thought Bear Jones at the end of the season showed so much. Guys, he had a better at-bats at the plate. He struck out a lot, but at the end of the season, if you remember, look, man, my man had a better eye than anybody. He got dialed in. And even in his struggles in the SEC, Bear Jones hit .301 with 28 bombs, 59 RBIs, which is a lot of home runs for not a lot of RBIs. But Maybe we can get some guys on base for him. He had 76 strikeouts. It's a big deal. He's got to cut it down. You know what you're getting. You know what the floor is there. I thought Bear Jones got better defensively at first. He's got to work on that more, do some different things. Does he DH a little bit more here? Can he DH on a Monday or Wednesday or a Monday? Can he DH during a midweek and Hernandez, Yaman, any of these guys go out there at first and you feel confident that can play first, give him some rest, he comes out. I anticipate that could definitely happen. By the way, Luis Hernandez, who may catch, may play some first, who knows? But Luis Hernandez, guys, I mean, he's coming off a heater from last season. We're going to talk about him in just a moment, but he had 23 long balls and 76 RBIs a season ago. And I get he was at the school that he was at in Indiana State, but Indiana State has been a pretty damn good baseball team. I look at Stephen Milam, Braswell. Those are the guys that you know what you're going to get. Michael Braswell has got to work on being a better defender. And I think that we've seen a guy in JT from a couple of years ago, Josh Thompson, who struggled. And finally, when you needed him, he came through and was a big part of why you won a College World Series in that last stretch there against Florida. Jordan Thompson. I look at him going from being a 255 hitter to a 311 hitter in the SEC from leaving South Carolina and going to being with Jay Johnson. I will admit with you, I don't know what happens at short with Braswell. If he plays third, if he plays short, if he plays second, I don't know what's going to happen here. Here's what I do know. I have a pretty good idea that what I'm going to get from the plate at him, and you'll figure something out of what you're going to do with him if you don't leave him at short. But Milam returns along with him. I don't know what you do with Stephen Milam, but guys, quite frankly, you don't go on the run that you went on to get to an SEC tournament championship game. Some of the things that you did in those early rounds against Wofford, okay, in that round one, hell, quite frankly, you don't get in there and get in a battle with North Carolina the way that you did without him. I know what I'm getting there, and I feel like the development's going to be better. I think they're going to be better. So I'm expecting a lot from the key pieces in the infield that you're getting. Now, at catcher, I think it's going to be interesting. I think that there's a battle there. I think you got Priester, Yaman, Hernandez, and you have Cade, the young freshman. I don't know what they do there. I will be open and honest. When I was out there, and maybe somebody else out there can have a better answer than I do, and maybe we need to bring somebody on who's out there more than I was. I still think that if you talk to people up there, though, they will tell you that they're not set on anybody. Priester can hit. He did in JUCO. He's been doing it a little bit here. Even if you haven't been out there and you just follow the track of exit ball velocity, Priester's been up there a lot. So he's hitting the ball in the fall really hard. Jay likes that a lot. That's why he kept putting Ethan Fry out there when they needed a pitch hitter. And even when he needed a DH. So now the question becomes, and you bring back Ashton Larson, who destroyed it during the summer and came on hot late into his freshman year. But you're adding some key pieces in the field that I think are interesting. Number one, you're adding Chris Stanfield from Auburn. Here's my hot take going into LSU baseball season. My hot take is this. I've seen a kid in the SEC that at the plate has had struggles. I've seen him leave that SEC school, come to Jay Johnson, become a better hitter, and be above 300 hitter. Guys, Michael Braswell got better with Jay Johnson at the plate in the SEC. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. He had his struggles in the field. You know it, and I know it. Chris Stanfield in center field, quite frankly, he needs some work defensively in some situations. I think he gets a little too erratic, but the dude made plays against us. The dude's made plays all over the SEC. Guys, he was on SportsCenter. I remember vividly, he was like number 1 or number 2. I think maybe it was Georgia last year that they were playing, and he had a catch in center field. Good Lord. In right center field in Georgia. And, you know, it's all goofy. I'm pretty sure it was Georgia. I don't remember the game. I remember him. And I remember him being a pest and a thorn in LSU's side when LSU went to Auburn a couple of years ago and lost the series. So he was a freshman then. I thought he was, look, the whole Auburn team sucked. So I think his production came down because of a lot of situations that were surrounding him too. That's neither here nor there. But Chris Stanfield hit 276 a season ago, 4 home runs, 25 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, and something that's very key for me here. He walks a lot, and he doesn't strike out a lot. Guys, of 220 at-bats, total at-bats, my man struck out under 40 times. Now, I know that seems a lot as a leadoff guy, but guys, you're playing 50-plus games. This dude is either getting out, getting a hit, or putting the ball in play, or walking. He did it in the SEC. My hot take is that I think that what happened with Braswell at the plate a year ago, I could see the same potential of that happening with Chris Stanfield. I think he's your starting center fielder. I don't think it's remotely close. I think Jay will always tinker early. I think that kid is going to be down the stretch for you, God willing, knock on wood, everything. He was the most electric player that was out there when I went out there twice. He had a massive catch in right center field that was like off the wall. He went up the wall and caught it. It was ridiculous. So he catches, and this was in the first inning. He has an amazing catch. Runners on second and third. Amazing catch. Right center field. First inning. He leads off. He works the count till it's full. He hits a line drive right back up the middle. He steals a base. I think it was the Cade kid, the catcher, came up behind him, struck out. Bear Jones hit a line drive right back up the middle. He scores. I was like, all right. If you know, this kid's done it in the SEC. He's doing it right here in front of my eyes again. I think from a position group standpoint, with the addition of him, Yeaman, Hernandez, and others, guys, I think you could be a really good team. Now, if you've noticed, I've left off Daniel Dickinson, and I've done that on purpose. I marked him in at second base, third base, shortstop. I don't care. But the Utah Valley transfer, there's my notes. Transfer, Daniel Dickinson is an All-American. Guys, last year he had 367 with 32 stolen bases, 18 home runs. I don't care if you're hitting BP. If you're hitting the ball out, you're hitting the ball out. Now, Utah's got some elevation. I heard Dickinson was okay this year. 18 home runs, 53 RBIs, 33 walks. Guys, he only struck out 28 times and over 300 plate appearances. I get it's in a lower division. But Daniel Dickinson is getting the hype because a lot of people think that he is a bona fide guy that could be one of the top players in the SEC. Guys, he's a preseason All-American for a reason. A lot of scouts, a lot of guys that cover baseball full-time for a living, they put him there because of what they believe. Now, there's a question that I have fielded about Daniel Dickinson from a lot of people, which will be interesting. Can he come into the SEC and hit the way that he did, play defensively the way that he did, and steal the bases the way that he did? I don't know the answers to any of those questions right now. Here's what I do know. I've seen multiple. Actually, I've seen probably about 10 to 12 guys from the Ivy League who would hit 330 in the Ivy League and then come to the SEC and hit 350. Blake, that didn't happen, and that guy probably didn't get a lot of at-bats. Oh, you mean like Texas A&M's DH, Hayden Schott, who you were after, by the way, when he did enter the portal. So Hayden Schott hit 333 at Columbia. He comes to the SEC, he hits 340. So, I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's going to be interesting to see what you do along the infield. If you're getting that much production, 300, 300, 300, from guys in your infield consistently, I feel confident about you as a team. But Daniel Dickinson, man, that's your golden gem in the field. I do have some high expectations for him. Put up or shut up, Tom. That's for damn sure. On the mound, it's also going to be very interesting because you bring in Anthony Eisen from the transfer portal, Zach Cohen as well from Wofford. Zach Cohen went 10-2 last year. He had 17 starts at 3.35 ERA, 110 innings pitched. This is the big thing. 110 innings pitched, 29 walks. Strike zones do change in different conferences. Not that much. Dude didn't walk people. What does he look like against better bats? And in those 110 innings pitched, he had 124 strikeouts. Anthony Eisen, somebody that everybody in the country wanted. 82 innings pitched. In 14 games, he had 9 starts and 85 Ks. He did get hit a little bit. I did see Anthony Eisen pitch in one of the times that I went out there. He had a 1-run inning. In that 1-run inning, well, I think it was the first inning, the Stanfield inning. He gave up the line drive. The K kid got out. Barry Jones line drive back up the middle, and he scored. Yeah, it was on Eisen. So, I mean, that's really it came in the second inning. I mean, he got touched a little bit. I mean, Josh Pearson hit one in the left center gap. I mean, he got touched a little bit. We'll see. I'm not basing my thought process off of – and Anthony Eisen's also a preseason All-American, second team if I'm not mistaken. But you do have a lot of arms. What does Chase Shores look like? Anderson, what is Cade Anderson? What does he look like? Schmidt comes in from Catholic, the freshman, highly touted. We talked about Zach Goen. I think the pitching staff, for what it's worth, is going to be a very interesting it's going to be a very interesting look. I think Chase Shores is your ace. You've made him your ace. He's going to be your ace. What does he look like coming off of injury? What does he look like? Pitching staff, I will admit, I think that they feel very confident where they sit. Jay has had an issue in moments and times with depth. It's going to be interesting to see how Yeski, who, quite frankly, was a big deal in A&M's rotation and development from a season ago, what does he look like going into year 2? It's a big, big question. We'll see. Merge. I don't know. But he does send a 10, or she sends a $10 super chat. I just want to say hi. Thank you for the entertainment. Like, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Man, we've gone an hour long. How about that? How about that? You know, well, y'all see people probably more than I do. It's always interesting to me when people get from Christmas because they go and sport it. I got me some nice clothes for Christmas. I know that. I'm very grateful. All right. Any more super chats? No. What about Peyton? What did I miss with Peyton? Maybe that wasn't to me. Spears is a cover-free safety. Toviano is a strong safety, better tackler. Whew. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. We'll see y'all soon, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.